opposition? That's carried, thank you. The next item on the agenda, item 10.1, which is a notice of motion, oil drilling in the Great Australian Bight. Recommendation 1, that the report regarding oil drilling in the Great Australian Bight be received. Someone like to move that way, thank you. Councillor Charles and Councillor Chibin, thank you. Any discussion? All those in favour? That's carried. And now I'll call on Councillor Jenkins if she wants to propose her motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Worship. My motion is that the Bight Harbour Council formally express its concern to both BP and the Minister for the Environment in regard to oil exploration and drilling in the Great Australian Bight. Although we respect that BP has indicated that the risk of an oil spill in the Bight is low, if this was to occur, it could have a catastrophic impact on our fishing industry, on our tourism industry, on our coast and marine environment, and on the economy of the South Coast, which is very dependent on all of these industries. It is because of this we believe the risk posed by oil exploration and drilling in the Great Australian Bight is unacceptable. This motion comes about following recent protests by a significant number of members of our community and the recent report that oil exploration in the Great Australian Bight will significantly increase the risk of spills, according to the Department of Transport Emergency Disaster Plan, which was recently finalised. This was reported in the Advertiser on August 12th. The Department of Transport Emergency Disaster Plan said that oil drilling in the Bight will significantly increase the risk of an accident due to the number of oil rigs and marine traffic, according to the study. The Bight is also important for whale and mammal migration into the waters along the south coast, and this in itself may be compromised by the increased traffic, oil rigs, and from what I understand, seismic testing during oil exploration. I'm also aware that our maritime industry is undergoing significant change at the moment, with most Australian mariners being replaced by much cheaper mariners on oil rigs. So it is quite likely that any oil rigs out there will be manned, for want of a better word, by overseas mariners who are not familiar with Australian waters. The significant accidents and the oil spills that have occurred in other areas of the world have had devastating effects on the marine environment and the economies of these areas. These were accidents and unplanned events, and I'm sure that the oil companies responsible assured the communities along those coastlines that the risk of an oil spill was low and that they had contingency plans. However, we've seen the significance of those oil spills on the environments there. We know that some of the world's roughest waters are in the Bight, which is also part of a marine park. Most of our fishing, tourist and commercial industries are made up of mums and dads and small businesses, and their livelihoods certainly in this area could be impacted. As the Bight Harbour Council, part of our key strategies is to protect the ecological values and biodiversity and to protect and enhance coastal environment. And as well as these key strategies, the Local Government Act says that the functions of the Council are to take measures to protect the Council area from natural and other hazards, to mitigate the effects of such hazards, to manage, develop, protect, restore and enhance and conserve our environment, and to promote the Council area. It's for all of these reasons that I think it's important, in my view, that we stand against oil exploration. This is something that Kangaroo Island Council is doing, that Yankalilla Council is doing, and that other South Coast councils are considering. And that we look after our residents, our marine environment, whales and dolphins, and the industries that are based on this marine and coastal environment. So I would ask the other councillors to support my motion, and should the above motion be carried, that a letter from the council be sent to BP and the Minister for the Environment stating the above and expressing the Council's concerns with oil drilling in the Great Australian Bight. And I'll just add this word that's not in that second part of the motion there. So concerns with oil drilling in the Great Australian Bight and the potential, so I'd add that word potential, Kate, catastrophic events on our tourism industry, coastal and marine environment and on the local economy should an oil spill occur. Thank you.
much. Seconding that motion, Councillor Charles, you have to second it?
I am. Can I speak to it whilst I do?
You may.
Thank you. The drilling, the potential drilling in the Great Australian Bight is a very scary thought because it is way deeper, way rougher, way more inhospitable than the Mexican Gulf, which is shallower, and that massive oil spill there will be around forever. It's there, it's lying on the bottom of the sea, it's under the sand, it's throughout the area, and so many lives and incomes were impacted apart from the environmental damage, which is frightful. I don't see that we need to find any more oil desperately. Oil prices couldn't be any lower. There's a glut on oil, and at the present moment we're moving forward to non-fossil fuels, motor vehicles which are run by solar and so on. And the technology is just improving out of sight with these vehicles. Silent, quick, silent in particular. Don't even know they're coming. You've got to turn on something to actually warn people, because otherwise you sneak up behind them as if you're on a push bike. Anyway, it's quite obvious that if there was an oil spill, it would be, as you look at the cold fronts coming in, the movement of the tidal area and the way the weather comes in from Western Australia, it would just spread fully along our full coastline and down through Tasmania as well. So I'm definitely in favour of this. Sound like a New Zealander then. This. So I'll back you up on that, and I do hope the other councillors join me, because we need to make a stand on something. This is ever so easy to do. We don't need to be Big Brother anymore. Some people flying under the radar here saying nothing all night, and others doing all the sticking of the neck out.
Stick to the agenda topic. Thank you. Any other comments? Yes, Councillor Martin.
Yes, I'll agree with Councillor Jenkins' comments, but I do wonder if her support for Oceanic Victor actually goes along with all the concerns that she's articulated about our local marine environment. I think a lot of the potential problems of that development could also cause great problems locally with tourism and water quality and all sorts of things. So I find it a little bit, well, I won't use the word that the group that's been campaigning against it will use, but I think it's sort of a bit not consistent with, let's use it that way.
Thank you. Any other comments? Just 1 second. Any other comments? No other comments. Councillor Jenkins in finalising. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Worship. In finalising, I'm not going to go through what I previously said, because you've heard that. However, I will respond to Councillor Marshall's allegations. And from Councillor Marshall, I really do see these as quite separate issues. That, you know, it's lots of people don't, and they're absolutely welcome to that. It's like, you know, somebody said to me, you know, comparing apples and pears, they're both fruit, but they're very different fruit. And I think that looking at this and looking at the Oceanic Victor proposal is very different, and I'm more than happy to sit down with you and explain my reasons with you about that. But I know that you don't want to meet with me, that's fine.
You're right, you're correct.
Thank you. That closes the debate. All those in favour? That's carried. Thank you. Move on to the next recommendation, that a letter from Council be sent to VP and the Minister of the Environment. Councillor Jenkins, I'm assuming you want to move that one as well? Yeah, thank you. Someone looking to second? Councillor Charles, you happy to second that as well?
I'd like to just make an addition to that if it's possible, and also to our local member, Rebecca Sharkey. The Nick Xenophon team are trying to re-establish the Senate inquiry, so it should go to probably Nick Xenophon and Rebecca Sharkey as well.
I'd be happy for that.
Thank you. whilst on that matter, perhaps our local MP might be included in this, going through that.
I'd be happy for that, and also perhaps the mayors of the other South Coast councils, so that they are aware of what we're doing. Because I think if all the councils along the South Coast provide similar sorts of, or have similar sorts of feelings, then that may be taken into account more during the inquiry.
Local member from Phyllis. Thank you, Councillor Jenkins and Councillor Charles, for looking at that word.
I see Nick Xenophon's not on there, but I suppose it's going to find its way to him, although I think I'd rather see it go direct to him. But
Yeah, I'd like his name on there, please.
Thank you. Make sure you got it right. You happy? Okay, thank you. Any further discussion? No discussion, all those in favour? That's carried, thank you.
can we say that it was unanimous, please, for the record?
Or if you like,
I'll second that.
Well, it's a powerful thing.
yep. On, unanimous.